If there's any benefit to suffering, it's that it makes you a stronger person. It makes you more consistent. It makes you more true. You know, it's also a test to see if you, whether or not you really are a certain way. Because if you fail this test, then it says, oh, well, it's not so much as failing as it's sorting people out. It's filtering them to say, what kind of person are you really? You know, it's not necessarily you fail or you pass. It's like, well, I just want to know which kind of animal you are. Doesn't mean you can't be a good version of that animal, but we can't just say you're a giraffe if you're a cow, right? So not all suffering or pain is necessary. And the continuance of certain sufferings or pains might not be necessary. But the thing is, in this world where it's chaotic and free will is a factor and we're free agents, you know, things can happen to you that, you know, you might not necessarily have benefited that much, technically. Like, there's no destiny behind it, there's no purpose behind it, you were just unfortunate. But there is a consolation to that, you know. And it's not just God telling you, oh, you're actually a better person, I actually like you more. But you actually do become a stronger person. It's just practical, it's just logical, it's just science. Because, you know, just as a steel sword is tempered and goes through trials, so to speak, it's a stronger material, it's a stronger sword, it's less likely to break, it's more resilient. Things hurt less to that sword. Likewise, emotionally, psychologically, your moral fiber is more enriched. So the actual benefit of that is, for instance, in a relationship. For instance, you as a person or someone else as a person, they know what trial and tribulation is like. Their personality is more strong, it's more rich, it's more fleshed out, so that it's not shallow. If, you know, they might not be a person who's going to leave you because you no longer have this job, or you don't have those perfect physical aesthetics anymore, or that, you know, you don't have a nice voice, or you're not talented with like musicians, instruments, like, whereas other people who didn't have to go through that suffering or didn't have to go through trials and tribulations, they might just say, oh, I'm not that interested in you. They might be shallow. So there's this saying, Jesus says, God says, you know, to each person their own reward. You know, let the person who has labored receive their reward, not with, you know, it's not like we're all equal in a sense that we can all be good people. But it doesn't mean some other people can't be special and actually be better at some things, or even everything. Because at the end of the day, if we're all, you know, living in a peaceful utopia, and, you know, some people don't even care, right? Some people just are satisfied with having what they have, and they can't complain, and they don't complain because they're too busy enjoying their lives. The food they eat's delicious, they're with someone who's attractive, so they don't care, technically speaking, in that case, if you necessarily are considered a better person, or if you're better at something. Just, you know, and you really can't complain, because, like, what about the negative side? Like, right now, everyone's enjoying their lives, but what about when things are bad? Did you care about them when they were in a bad situation? When they were in a worse situation? Did these people care about you when you were subjugated by Nazi Germany? So then why do you care now that now their life's better than yours, or that they're more celebrated, or that they're more elated than you? You know? Your friendships will be stronger, you know. Long distance relationships will be more viable for you. You'll have a more rich relationship with other human beings, which is like the real happiness in life. The real true happiness in life revolves around human beings and spending time with each other, and that the other person and that you yourself are of high standards, are of rich values and cultures. It's less satisfying to you to speak to someone who isn't at least on the same moral level as you, or even if they were, to know that you and him or yourself were just like these deplorables, or like there's nothing special about you, like you're not a hero or whatever. That's not as enjoyable. That actually is like a bad taste in your mouth. But you as a person who has suffered, has gone through trial and tribulation, who has proven yourself, who has stood the test of time, who has been the brave person, who has been a speaker of truth, who has been righteous, who has been, a defender of the widow or the orphan, the defender of animals, and, even at the stakes where everyone is against you, whether they're right or left, or liberal or Democrat or Republican or conservative, and you decided not to, pander to just anyone because there's a big audience to side with anyone. You were all by yourself, walking the lonely road. So yeah, just like a dog or a cat. You raise a dog or cat, you don't want them to become bad just so you think you can make them stronger or you can make them better. You don't have to be like at that level all the way up in the sky, amazing angelic saints of animals. You just want them to be a happy, domesticated, behaving dog or cat. Just get along, that's it. You don't try to put them through trials and tribulations. But the thing is, you also can't deny, if your dog or your cat does go through trauma and you and your pet go through deep things in your life, you have a stronger bond. And your dog might be more of a human being, so that, some dogs, they don't honor their owners. They're like, whatever, just feed me, I don't care about you. Cats, you see differences in cats and dogs, like, oh yeah, it's my human, I bark at my human, I don't give a shit about my human. But then there's some dogs, they'll be at your bed, if you passed away, there's a dog that won't leave his owner's casket, a veteran. So it gives you like the thing that they say, like, do not go after riches, possessions that will perish and are of no real true value, but go for that which is eternal. That's what's within your heart. It's a relationship. The epitome of a human livelihood and happiness revolves around yourself and other people, about a society. It's like having a neighbor, having a family, having a lover, being harmonious with living beings and coexisting with human beings, not with inanimate objects. Inanimate objects are things that are facilities, are things that you have to do as activities to share with, to enjoy with other people, not people being enjoyed with inanimate things. So, if anything, if there's any benefit and consolation to the fact that you have suffered and experienced pain and tragedies, is that you strengthen your bond, you strengthen your morality, your character, and you enrich and you elevate your experience with other human beings.